Welcome everybody to the Evil Ewok podcast. It is the Zach and Alex show today. We're missing our cat. How are you doing
Our
tonight,
house cat.
buddy?
We're just missing our house cat. She decided to do other things like cough up hairballs. Oh, cat. We're talking about that cat. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, she's off. She has meetings and whatnot tonight, so she won't make it. But she will be here next week for Mando, which we are all very excited about.
Mando. What's up, A21?
Doo-doo-doo-doo.
Stanley, Sal, Charlie. The gang's all here.
And
Um,
Serena.
oh yeah, she always Serena, welcome. Alex has that body back. Yeah, and if he ever blacks out again, do let us know. Specifically in chat, let us know that Alex is black and you can't hear or see
Yeah,
him.
and not racially, but literally physically in the realm of this live stream verse that I'm
What's
blacked
up?
out and that you can't see me or hear me. What up,
What's
Jimmy?
up, Jimmy?
What up? What up? How is
Will
everyone?
do. Good soldiers follow orders. Let's let
Yes.
people trickle on in here. It's a beautiful day on Coruscant, as you can see in our background. We've
Which I
got
also totally forgot. Next week is literally Mandalorian, which I was like, holy crap! It's already the end of February. February is a quick month though, so it makes sense.
yes, sir. It really snuck up on me because I guess we can thank Bad Batch for that. It gave us something to kind of watch every week. But we will be ditching the Bad Batch for Mandalorian. And unless they change the day, and if they both come out on the same day every week at the same time, we're gonna watch Mandalorian. So we'll be ditching the Bad Batch unless obviously they switch the days. It was a good run, sort of.
Sort of. Yeah, we'll talk about episode 10 at the end. Or should we just do it now?
We could talk about it now. I don't have that much to say. I don't really
Yeah.
have much more to talk about besides the fact that I was just really disappointed that that was the result of the two-parter. Like I liked the first part. I liked the character dynamics between Tick and Omega, and then for it to just to lead to a standard filler episode with really no character development for any of the core group of Bad Batch members was just kind of like, oh, whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, like I said at the end, at least now our expectations can be tempered a little bit because they kind of hinted that, hey, look, we're just going to be saving everyone around the galaxy in these side quests for the rest of the season. So if they do anything other than that, I will be pleasantly surprised. So at least we have that.
That's true. We can definitely adjust expectations. I just felt like what a weird decision to do that, to make a two-parter that just ultimately doesn't have much payoff. Um, and then again, they don't really profit off of the mission, although I think they got a couple cans of those what the glowy liquid that they were mining.
Ipsium?
Um,
Is that what
Ipsium.
it was?
Yeah,
Ipsium.
it was Ipsium. What's up, John Cena? Still no Crosshair. Yeah, Crosshair's only been in one episode, 1 out of 10 episodes, dude. Can you
There's
believe
only been
that?
one?
Yeah, 1 out of 10 episodes Crosshair's appeared in. Just episode 3.
I think they missed the memo where everyone liked him the most.
I know. They're like, oh, so they probably were already like into production when first season was coming out, and they're like, oh shit. we don't have him in any episodes in season 2. We gotta add one at least.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess we'll see where it goes, but we won't really be seeing next week unless it premieres after Mando and we want to stay up extra late. Um, there will
Yeah.
be no discussion until Thursday about that one. But yeah, it's pretty back to Sid next week, literally. Oh my god, we've talked about this so many times now.
Do you
There
want to
there
take
have
it?
been there have been constant like discussions where I'm just like going through analytics and thinking about rebranding. But I mean, I kind of like where we're at now, and we have like kind of separate little section of the podcast on the channel. But this was originally meant to be my second channel, which stemmed from AD edits, and this was just going to be like commentary and everything. And I'm not as good as Zach is at that kind of stuff, as well as just theories and lore. He knows way more than I do. So I'm like, hey Zach, what do you think about stepping in on and taking over this channel and doing your thing? And he's just like, fuck you. And then I'm like,
Yeah,
okay.
I was like, "No."
And then about a week later, he's like, sure, I'll do it. And I'm like, sick. And then he started, and the rest is history. Now we're at like almost 20K. We're at like 18K now, and
Yeah.
it's good. It proves that he's good at it, and I knew that he was good at it. So I'm more than happy with him taking the reins. And then we all here host a podcast, obviously, which that's what this is. Um, every week, and then we've had all sorts of guests on. It was just a way for me to be more interpersonal rather than going on my main channel where live streams and long form content doesn't work very well. And this is kind of a place where we can kind of do all of that. So that's the explanation for you.
Yeah, and I always forget to do this every single stream, but do like the stream if you can, guys. Like and share with people. It helps the stream get out there into the algorithmic pathways of
Overlords,
YouTube's.
the
Yeah,
YouTube overlords will reward us. Yeah, like
so
it's literally insane how much liking helps. I always forget to say that too. It never comes to me. I'm always thinking about what I want to talk about. But when you guys
yeah.
like it, it kind of gets recommended to more viewers that are subscribed to the channel, and then other viewers that aren't subscribed, and then maybe we'll make some more friends here on the podcast. That's always fun.
Death Star, smash that like button, everybody. Death Star,
Still,
blast it.
still waiting for AD Gaming. Yeah, well, Stanley, so am I because I my go fuck yourself. Yeah, pretty much. But this is the AD gaming thing. I think it's gonna just be on this channel. I don't know if I'm gonna make a completely separate channel yet. But once I get my computer, which has been backlogged for like 3 months now, it's a fucking monster. I'm excited. That's gonna be the computer I'm gonna be using for streaming here, for any of the games that are gonna come out, so that we have like that kind of section covered also. For those of you who game, right? Um, but yeah, that was a little sidebar. That was pretty much
It
all we had
was.
to talk about Bad Batch, huh?
Yeah, I like it was just a I feel like everybody's kind of on the same page. I didn't watch Theory's video about it, but I saw the title and he was just like Star Wars episode 10 dot dot dot. Okay.
Yeah,
so
or
so
something. Yeah, yeah.
I like everybody's kind of just like eh, whatever, man.
Or
Um
be like the way Rampart was when he asked him about uh, what was the situation where he's like that person. Oh, he's like clone trooper. He was like looking for Cody. He's like
who
Cody,
yeah.
who CT7649. Oh,
Pulls out a notebook. He's like, "What's the numbers again?" Was it like 49 or 48?
just
I
has like a
could just call
math
him
brain.
Cody, but that would show that I care too much. So I'm just gonna.
Yeah, it is a little on the nose there with that one. That was we really cracked up on that. I couldn't get
Yeah,
over that.
it's like, did you memorize all the clones'
That was
numbers? Like,
probably. I think is that like probably the best part so far in the Bad Batch, like a little nonsense interaction that's just way too funny.
imagine if like we just memorized each other's phone numbers and just didn't call each other by our names. Like, oh, who?
Yeah,
Alex?
seven six oh. Yeah,
You mean
yeah,
777-2464?
yeah. 464 type 9738. Yes,
Love that guy.
I love that guy. Yeah,
But
that's
shout,
literally
let's
what the equivalent is. It's so weird.
yeah.
It's so weird.
Or I guess it would be like our social security numbers or something.
Oh god. Do you think they like did that for droids? There's no goddamn way. They're like, oh yeah, droid, fucking droid DT 769. Yeah, that one that was part of like the battalion of 3,000 others. I memorized those too.
Yeah.
Um, it's like just
You
fucking
have to
nuts.
have really good memory to be in a Star Wars universe.
Oh,
But anyway, back to the Mandalorian season 3 next week. On a scale of 1 to 10, how hyped would you say you are for this new season?
um, I'd say I was more hyped for last season because we kind
Yeah.
of got Luke. You know, we were expecting to get something in that season, right? And we got Luke. Whereas this season's kind of going to be like we already know what's happening because the season previous set it all up. So I mean, there's still room for surprise, right? But I think we kind of got our fill with with having that moment with Luke, so it was really special, right? So it's like now it's like stumping that or making it even having it hit us even harder is going to be hard, right? For lack of lack of a vocabulary, I have no words right now.
There are no words.
I think the whole Mandalore arc is going to be really interesting. You know, seeing who Bo-Katan is maybe actually talking to. Maybe it's not even Din. Maybe it's someone else. Because I noticed a lot of people are arguing about how she's like calling the kettle black by saying your cult fractured our people, right? Because she was part of Death
Yeah.
Watch, all that. Um, I don't think she's just blatantly that kind of person. She never struck me as kind of that kind of person. So like I could imagine she's either talking to like some Jedi or maybe the Armorer or something else. I don't know. Because it would make sense that the Armorer would maybe be going against Din at some point for some reason because she's just kind of psycho with the whole helmet thing when there's only
Yeah.
4 people left.
Yeah, I've said it before. I don't like the armor as a character. Like, I mean, she's a fine character. I just don't like agree with her, and I think she's actively hurting Din, and basically making him go seek redemption to become a Mandalorian again. Whereas Bo is pretty much just like, yeah, you can take your helmet off. It's not a big deal. I've been doing it since the Clone Wars. Blah blah blah. But I would say Eli says 17 out of 10, so he's super jacked for it. I'd say I'm like a 7 out of 10 excited for it.
Did
Maybe
I
an
say
8.
what I was?
I think you. I don't know what. I don't think you
I don't
did.
even think I said. I just went on a rant. I'd say yeah, like a 7, like maybe a 7.5 based off how the first episode goes. But the official runtime was released about how long the first episode's going to be, and it's going to be 35 minutes. So it's not going to
That's
be much. Of
short.
it's not going to be much of an intro episode. I think we're just going to get like maybe Din meeting up with Grief and then maybe leaving, and then that's it. I think that's probably what the first episode is going to be. Um,
Imagine Din sitting in his cockpit, and all of a sudden, like the holo projector comes up, and it's Sid, and she's just like, "Hey, Din, I need you to go fetch this for me." And they don't explain how they met at all, and it's just like,
It's like
like,
now Sid's just like part of everything, and we're just like,
yeah,
God fucking damn it. During the
there's
watch
no
party, just
escape.
throw your computer and we never get on a live stream again.
I would
Yeah.
lose my shit. They better make it so Luke was just testing Grogu with the choice, and Grogu has Yoda's lightsaber, because the whole thing that Anakin died for was to let Jedi have personal connections. Yeah, I don't love that Luke is just kind of repeating the same mistakes as the other Jedi. I liked that in Legends, how he made adjustments and he allowed personal connections, because it doesn't make sense to just literally do the same thing that the Jedi did when the Jedi just collapsed and all got killed.
Yeah, we talked about this like
A long
uh
time ago.
but we talked about it quite a bit, right? I'm like trying to
Yeah.
remember what our stance was because I think we had issues, but then there was also some things that we were taking into account for why it was actually okay. But then we're also like, but no, right? I think
It's
something
yeah,
like that
you're right.
was our stance.
Because yes, attachments would theoretically, I think we reached the conclusion that it's really up to the individual, because some individuals could handle having attachments but also being a Jedi. Because not everybody's going to turn into Anakin and commit genocide, right? Like, not everybody's got that in them to do that. So I think it's just up to the individual. Um, where like Luke would be fine with attachments. It's been shown that he's fine with attachments, but Anakin not so much. So I guess it's just individual based. The short
Yeah,
runtime,
if someone's like asexual, they're probably the perfect Jedi because they have no issues with that. They just have like they're just like it's just friendships that they're giving up at that point, and it's like that. Yeah,
right?
that sucks, but it's different, right?
I
So
mean, they can still love people.
no, I
I
know,
don't think I don't think
but it's
Anakin turned to the dark side so that he could just bang Padme still. I think it's because he loved her.
yeah, but love also is part of physical love, and that's something that some people don't have huge emphasis over, right? And I think having a detachment from that would definitely help them from like you know the
Maybe a
dark
little
side.
bit, but like asexual people can still fall in love, and that can be
Oh,
every bit
no,
as
I'm not
powerful.
saying they can't. I'm just saying there's a different realm there where temptation it's kind of like well, if you're like raised in a Catholic household and you're like asexual, you're like you can't have sex before marriage. You're like I'm chill. I don't. It doesn't matter for me. I don't really care. Right. I'm okay with waiting till marriage. Right. It's like just a different thing that maybe helps a little bit. But
But the Jedi can have sex. That's
Yeah,
fine. They just can't fall in love. That's the problem.
yeah. They can just be pimps.
Yeah. Obi-Wan
Nope.
Obi-Wan worked as a pimp in the underworld of Coruscant on his days off.
No one knew it, but he did. It's like Anakin. I ran a pimp ring. Let me teach you two things about women. He's like, no, master. We've already talked about this. It's like Anakin. You must not form attachments. Keep your pimp hands strong.
Jesus. Alright, that's enough of this. Jedi should have mental health services included in their health insurance plan. I agree. I think that would be very responsible. Season 2, Kenobi,
Yeah,
Obi-Wan's a
mental health
pimp.
services.
Luke, I've been turning them out in the Dune
Imagine,
Sea.
imagine Yoda. Yoda just has like a wig that he puts on for his like therapist outfit. Like he
Care
like just puts something on. He's like, Yoda, I am not your therapist. I am, and then
care I do not.
yeah, and then and then like
Deal with it.
he just has a bunch of different hats depending on what occupation he has to fulfill as part of the insurance policies. Oh,
I'd love to see a Jedi HR department. That'd be so funny.
have you guys seen the
Uh,
posters of the characters? Because the one of Bo-Katan. No, let me look them up. Is it on
I
Twitter?
I think she looks cool with longer hair. I really like her look for this season.
She has long hair.
Or
Nice.
her hair's different, right?
Mandalorian posters. Let's see. A lot of fan posters that I've been seeing, but I haven't seen. Oh, are those the official ones? Oh, they are the official ones. Okay. Okay, hold on one sec. I'll share.
Be better.
I just like don't share it. I'm just talking about it. Okay. You guys see?
No, not yet.
Still no?
Now I can see. See, she looks way cooler.
Whoa. The Mandalorian. Dude, I just always loved her helmet. I loved
Yeah,
their group. What was the Night Owl? What were they called? I always
the
forget.
night owls.
No, the Night Owls, yeah. Yeah, longer hair looks good. She actually looks really good with the red hair. Like her natural hair. I don't even know if blonde's her natural hair, but I always think she looks better with red hair.
I agree. You see a Sid poster. Mandalorian.
Just in live action
Sid.
randomly.
That's fan made, right? The big one.
Yeah, this one is fan made, I think.
Yeah. Yeah,
By me. Yeah.
it looks good.
Yeah, we judge like how good posters are. Like if they're good, they're fan made. If they're terrible, they're not fan made. That's just how it works, right? Grief
Grief
Karga.
Karga.
Is it just those three? And then there's ads.
Supposedly season 4 is already written. Yeah, we talked about that on the last pod. It's good that they have a plan laid out.
There was the graphic designer who did my banner redid these because he said they weren't great just based off of I guess
Benny?
color or whatever. Yeah, and he redid them, and honestly, like I feel like you're just nitpicking at that point because a lot of these actually look pretty cool, and I can understand maybe some color, but it's like at the end of the day, it's all subjective and it's just a stylistic choice. Like
Yeah, I
his ones
think
that
they're
he did,
cool.
I think they look good, but it's like I don't know. I mean, it's hard to like look at that and be like, "That's awful. I could do so much better." Right?
Yeah,
It's like
there are colors that pop for each of us. Like you might have a different color scheme that you like that really pops to you versus me. Like I might like, I don't know. For example, I like the old Miami Vice colors, like the like light blue and then like hot pink. I think those look really good together. Those pop. But to somebody else, they might not like that as much. It might be like red and black or whatever. It's all like subjective. So I like these posters. I
one
think they're
thing to
cool.
say. It's one thing to say, "Hey, look, I can do it differently." It's another thing to say, "Hey, look, I can do it better because these suck."
Yeah.
Right? That's when it's like, okay, I don't know if your ego's just massive or I'm just like, even if you're like really good at what you do, I don't think you should ever say I can do way better than them. You just say, "Here's a different opinion," right? Or here's a different approach. I don't know.
Sal does
That's just
not
how I
like the
feel.
lightning bolts and the character posters, but they look great otherwise. Yeah, I think I agree. I don't like the lightning bolt pattern, but
Looks
everything
very
else
comic
looks
book.
pretty good.
It looks very comic book like the other official posters that we just went through, like the character posters. It looked very like graphic novel to me,
Yeah.
which isn't a
Uh,
bad thing. It's a different look for sure.
I'm super excited for more Daddy Pedro Pascal. Yeah, I mean, you get The Last of Us and you get Mandalorian season 3 overlapping a bit.
It's Zaddy Pascal. Apparently, he goes by Zaddy now. Daddy is Oscar Isaac. Praying we get Fen Rao
Fun Rao.
Rao this season. Would love Kevin McKidd reprising his role. He's very integral to the Sabine Bo-Katan. Oh yeah, are we gonna get Sabine? Or is that for Ahsoka?
I think it's Ahsoka. It's Ahsoka, yeah.
So we for sure won't get her this season then. I mean, we still could probably.
It's
Maybe.
possible. I just know that they've like announced the actress for Ahsoka. Yeah, Fen Rao would be cool. It's always made sense to me that he would show up. He should be hanging out with Bo, unless he died. Maybe he's dead. Like we don't know. A lot of Mandalorians were killed by the Empire, but Charlie, my photo ops with Carl. I'm asking if we can do the Dylan. You son of a. You should, Charlie. That'd be so cool. Dylan, you son of a bitch. Have
And
you've
is that
seen that,
the
right?
famous handshake? Yeah.
Yeah, from the Predator.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be so cool, Charlie. You have to do it. It would go crazy if we got a flashback in Mando of Maul's rule over Mandalore. Probably not though. It would be cool. It'd have to serve the story. It would have to make sense, but it would be really
I
freaking cool.
think I think the fact that it's destroyed, they should have flashbacks because like not everyone watched Clone Wars, so I think providing some backstory to what it was would be really really cool. Not only for fans who've watched Clone Wars, but for people watching the show. It adds more depth and more variety to it. Just because it's like otherwise you're showing up, it's like, oh, this is what Mandalore was. That's cool, I guess. It must they look powerful, but the audience might not have a
Yeah.
good idea, and they have to go searching for other mediums to get their fill. And I don't think they should have to do that. Right? They should just make hour-long episodes and have flashbacks. That'd be sick.
I think we're guaranteed to get at least flashbacks from basically what went down between the Empire and Mandalore. We see TIE fighters in the trailer, in one of the trailers, flying and bombing the city. So I think we'll for sure get those flashbacks. I'd love to see Maul, which would have to be even further back, but I think
It
we're
can be
definitely
from
going
like
to
a far
see.
away perspective though. Like it could be like it doesn't have to be like a close up. It can be like some a camera from the back, just like kind of seeing Maul on the throne, or like cutting off Vizsla's head or something. I don't know, just something where it's like from the distance, so you can't really make out. You know who it is, but you can't really like make out the actors because they maybe it doesn't have to be them. Just like something like that would be pretty cool, or just something that ties in with Clone Wars that we can be like, oh my god, that was sick. It doesn't have to be those scenes, but I'm just saying something like that would just be something fun, in my opinion.
Yeah, and what if they give us Satine, huh? Finally give us a
I
little bit
mean,
of
I've
Satine.
given up. I've given up on expecting that or hoping for that. I'd rather be pleasantly surprised, and then I can just sit there and be like, they did it. Those sons of bitches, they did it, and then just fucking bawl my eyes out.
I mean, with Kenobi, you were basically like, "Please, Lucasfilm may have some
Please,
Satine,"
yeah,
and then they
please stop.
slapped you. They slapped
Yeah.
you, and they're like, "No, go edit. Go back into edit."
I had my bowl up, and then what they did was they took the stew out and then poured it next to the bowl, not even in the bowl, and it was on the floor. And then
Yeah,
I was like, "Well, I can't eat it now." And they're like, "Well, then you'll never know."
yeah.
And
You're
I'm like,
like, "Could
"Okay."
I at least have some Padme?" And then they took another spoonful, poured it
And
on
there's
the other side of the bowl. They're like, "No."
or I juke them out. I try to move my bowl so I get some, and they just juke me out and just
Yeah.
yeah, it's sad, sad, sad.
We need more live action Molly. He's such a good character. I'd also love to see live action Satine. I agree. That's one of the biggest reasons I was disappointed that we wouldn't be getting a continuation of the Solo story on live action is because we won't get to see A, Kira. I love Kira, and B, more live action Maul.
It would have to be like yeah, man, Legion kind of said it. The best they can do is name drop, but it would have to be like it can't just be like remember Maul, right?
Remember Maul?
And it has to be like a whole thing that ties into it, right? It can't just be randomly thrown in there because then it's just cheap. But
You know, it'd be hilarious if if Bo-Katan's sitting there and she's like, you know, this has happened once before. Mandalore was conquered by a Zabrak named Maul, and then you just hear, oh, and it just cuts to Maul.
yeah, as he lights a dark saber.
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun.
It just shows
And it's
Obi-Wan
not,
killing Satine in front of Obi-Wan, and Ewan's
yeah,
just like
it's,
there, like, yeah.
or it's just
It's like,
not
oh
new
fuck, you're
footage
doing
at
it.
all. It's not, it's just literally like the
It
duel
went
of the
back to
fates
Phantom
footage.
Menace, yeah. It
Yeah.
just went back to yeah.
uh,
It's just like the Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan fight scene for like 35 minutes, and that's the whole episode. And everyone's just like, bro, what the fuck?
I know. Uh,
Oh yeah, Christopher Lloyd.
yeah, I think he's for sure gonna be in it.
Yeah, I think they announced that. I don't know what his character is going to be, but it's definitely going to be one of those like side one-liner characters, probably.
I imagine him as some like kooky old junker who
Yeah.
helps him get a part for his ship or something. You know, like I don't anticipate him playing a major role because the guy is pretty old. But I love Christopher Lloyd. I'm excited that he's going to be a part of The Mandalorian season 3. Um, you think he'll be in the first episode, or you think he'll be in somewhere down the line?
No. Or he, oh yeah, he might be someone who helps refuel his ship or something, and then they just leave him.
What if he's
Like, right?
playing? What if he's playing Maul?
Just an old man. Like somehow he survived Obi-Wan killing him.
Yeah,
They just bring him back again. Somehow
it's
Maul
just,
survived.
I always do. Oh my
I
god,
see
dude.
him. It's like he's just like behind Bo-Katan's throne. Kenobi? No, Maul. Kenobi's not here. Oh, okay.
Maul, not every bearded white guy is Kenobi.
Kenobi. It's like he's like Smeagol now. It's just like, what the
Yeah.
hell is happening to Star Wars, man?
I see him in my mind's eye. No, Maul, that's because I'm a Force ghost and I'm standing right in front of you. Uh, let's move on. You had something about Hayden Christensen?
Oh yeah. We're gonna talk about how he got an award. Or no, he got
Jesus.
nominated. Sorry.
Steam just like opened up on my computer and it's blocking my screen. I can't see anything.
Dude, I hate that.
The hell is
I
going
disabled
on?
auto. I disabled when that auto boots up on the computer because it was just always so annoying.
Yeah, okay, we're back.
What about the chosen one? Yeah. So anyway, Hayden Christensen was nominated for his role of, obviously, I think you guys can guess, Vader in the Kenobi series. So me and Zach were talking about this a little bit earlier. This is kind of like a very interesting selection. One in particular that we thought was weird was Matt Smith, because I guess in our eyes we didn't really see him as a villain. So I'm curious what everyone else thinks about the selections here, because most of it's either horror or just like random shoe-ins from like the famous TV shows, right?
Yeah. Who else? Let me see. Can you zoom in a little bit? I didn't actually look at this.
You see now?
Yeah, okay. Ethan Hawke, Moon Knight, Brad Dourif, Chucky, Matt Smith, House of the Dragon, Hayden Christensen, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anthony Starr, The Boys, Michael Emerson, Evil, Jamie Campbell Bower, Stranger Things, Harriet Sampson Harris, Werewolf by Night. Like half of that's a Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
Like every Marvel series basically got the villain nominated. I haven't
I mean,
seen
it is
Evil
the
or
Super
Chucky.
Awards, so take that with a
Oh,
grain of
yeah, that
salt, I
makes
guess.
sense.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
there's
That's fair.
The Super Awards. Um, yeah, I don't even know if I've never seen this before. I don't even know if they're all going to be there. Is this just kind of like an internet award where like, hey, look, you won, and then they get called. They're like, oh, that's cool. Send me
Dude,
whatever you're going to send me.
we should make an internet award.
Yeah, we should call it the Super Awards.
Super Awards.
The Super the more super than the Super Awards.
Zach's watching Captain America, the First Avenger, and watching this stream at the same time. All right, Zach, we're putting you on the spot. Which one is better? Is it Captain America, the First Avenger, or is it this stream?
It's gonna be a hard decision, Zach. I
He
expect you to make the right
deserves it.
one.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's great that he got nominated, but I mean, like I said,
Jesus.
is it popping up again?
It's just like lagging. I'm trying to move the docket instead of the. Okay. What am I sharing? I need to stop sharing. Okay. Yeah, my whole interface is lagging a little bit, so you just take the reins.
Now you just cut mine off.
I didn't cut anything off.
Now I'll stop sharing. Okay. Now I'll reshare.
Technical difficulties.
Okay. Can you see now? We were
It's
saying,
there we go.
we were saying, Anthony Starr, and it'd be between Anthony Starr and probably Jamie, because I can't imagine Hayden kind of winning this outright. It would be great if he won, but I mean, I can't imagine him winning because he didn't really do much in the show in its entirety, and for the most part, all of these characters were pretty prominent in the entire show. So I guess we'll kind of see. He's also kind of a pretty famous, already overused character, if you will, in many ways. So it would make sense that maybe the critics were like, "Hey, let's like give the awards to like the newer characters," even though a lot of those characters are probably taken from Star Wars in some way, shape, or form. I can't imagine
Like Vecna.
yeah, like I can't imagine them just immediately giving it to Hayden right off the bat. It'd be great, but I can't imagine him winning, to be honest.
Yeah, Stanley's. I think Vecna's probably gonna win, if I had to guess. It was really well done the way that they set him up in that season. It was probably my favorite part of that season. Zach
I
says
didn't
this
even
stream. All
see.
right, correct answer. Correct answer, Zach.
Okay, you can stay now. The I didn't even see the show at all until Amanda had that section on with Vecna, and I was watching. And I was like, "This is pretty cool." So,
You're like, damn, Vecna's hot.
well, Amanda thought it was the finale. Amanda thought it was ending with this season. So when we were watching it, she's like, "Well, that's a really shitty way to end it." And then they realized, "Oh yeah, there's a new season coming," and she's like, "Oh, okay, never mind." But yeah, I'd agree. He's a pretty cool character. Not gonna lie. I think Anthony Starr is probably a close second, just because his portrayal of Homelander is just an icon. It's just your only complaint was that it's getting kind of stale at this point, and that they need to add more diversity to his character and more depth to his character.
Yeah, he just needs to. I think they are going in this direction. I just think he
Yeah,
needs to. I'm tired of him. Like, it was really interesting for the first two seasons, but the fact that he's still for most of this season 3 was of the same mindset where it's like I could snap you like a twig, but I'm not going to because I care too much about my reputation. They were kind of milking that too much in my mind, and I'm
hmm
glad that it seems like they're gonna finally just have him basically release his inhibitions and do whatever the f he wants, as he said in that one scene where
release
he's
your inhibitions.
yeah,
And I don't, I don't even know the lyrics. No one else can do it for you. Only
no,
you can let it in. No one else. No one else. God damn it.
we have such beautiful. We have the voices of angels.
We are winning Emmys. Whoa!
Grammys.
In an attempt to revitalize the floundering Star Wars brand, sources say Disney plans to team up with unfavorable Ray, R2D2, and two existing characters, Guntra Burp and Crimp and Shiddens. I'm sorry, this looks so funny. Hold on.
What are you talking about?
I'm reading we got Guntra Burp and Crimp and Shiddens.
Oh, we can't see anything.
Oh, it didn't even share?
No.
Wow. Hold on. Hold on, I got this. Boom. Iconic.
What what are we looking at here?
I have no idea. I just saw this and I thought this was funny and I wanted to share
I guess it looks like
it. Like, what the fuck? Just going through Star Wars Twitter, you know, the usual.
Peter Mayhew on the side.
Peter Mayhew.
Oh my god.
The
All right.
Mandalorian an early illustration. Interesting.
That's pretty cool. Let's revisit Mandalorian a little bit here. I'm closing your thing. Um, so Jon Favreau recently in an interview talked about the decision to bring Grogu and Din back together in the Book of Boba Fett, and this is the quote that he had. We couldn't just hit a hard reset. It's going to be interesting to see how this unfolds for people who may not have seen the Book of Boba Fett. But I think the Book of Boba Fett offered time to pass. You saw what Mando was like without Baby Yoda, and we saw what Grogu was like without the Mandalorian, and neither of them were doing too good. So them coming back together was a really good plot point that allows us to jump back into season 3 while maintaining the central relationship. What are your thoughts?
Do you want to leave that up for them for just for a second in case they didn't read it all? Or in case they want to read it and formulate their own opinion too. I want to know what Chad thinks about this. We talked about this briefly before we went on, but for me, this is just like saying a lot while saying nothing. It almost sounds like a PR speech that was written for them to make it seem like, you know, that's their creative direction when really they were probably told what to do. Which is sad because anyone with a brain reads this and thinks there's so many different directions you could have gone and so many different creative things that you could have done. It just makes you look creatively bankrupt when we all know, Dave and John and everyone involved, that you guys are not creatively bankrupt. You're just being told what to do. So that's my opinion. I want to hear Lore Master's opinion.
Captain Rex showed up on that picture that you were showing.
The best time to show up.
Yeah, so I mostly agree with you. It just feels like he knows that it's a bad explanation that he's giving, but he has to say it anyway to kind of toe the company line because it clearly was a monetary decision because the bigwigs at Disney or whatever probably directed them to bring Grogu back because they couldn't stomach one season or half a season without having Grogu present because he's such a cash cow, which I understand to some extent, but then don't separate them in the first place if you're not going to keep them apart for a while. You know, it just in terms of story, it was very. It could have been so impactful to see Din on his own for half a season and Grogu on his own for half a season. It would have given us more Luke, probably, maybe more Ahsoka. It would have given us more understanding of Grogu's past. And then on the other side, we would have had basically a look at Din's everyday life where he's not just caring for an infant or he's not trying to get this infant somewhere. Like that's what he's been doing for 2 seasons. So I was all for them being split up because them being split up doesn't mean that you don't see Grogu. Like you can easily still follow Grogu and you can jump back and forth. So I was disappointed that they did it, and I don't think that this explanation holds too much water. I think that it's just him making excuses because he has to.
Yeah. There was honestly an inkling of me that was hopeful that Yoda would choose to be with Luke, right? Because Luke's presence is so, you know, stoic and he probably felt calm around him and everything. And I could imagine it'd be hard for him to completely let go of what he was a part of for like 50 years or 40 years of his life,
Yeah.
right? All of a sudden, just going with some Mandalorian that he met for like, I don't know. I don't even know how long they've been together now, but I just imagine it kind of being like he's going back to his roots and he's remembering where he comes from, and that gives him peace of mind. He's able to be himself more or something, and he goes with it, right? Realizing that maybe down the line, it maybe wasn't the best decision, or he meets Mando, or there's something happens where he lets fear take a hold, and then he ends up dying or something. Yeah, I don't know, like way down the road if they find out, however long Grogu lives. It's just something like there's a lot of different directions where like them meeting after he's already been trained with Luke and after he's been with Luke would be like so so different because there's like maybe a whole season where Din's just doing really cool Din things, right, with his full Beskar armor now and not worrying about the baby
Yeah.
that he's taken care of. It's just it's like we understand the dynamic. It was really cute. It's so great. But for the wider audience that isn't just like in it for simple pleasures of seeing a cute little baby and a Daddy Pedro, we want to see something new. And season three, I was hoping was going to be that newness that we were going to be able to experience. But I think this is probably going to follow like the realm of I guess the boys, where like you could kind of compare it to Homelander having kind of a character change. I think maybe this will something's going to happen this season where the characters are going to become completely different based off of what happens. Like the Mandalorians are going to go to war with each other, for example, right? And there's going to be a lot of different sides being taken, sides being drawn. Maybe Din realizing he can't be with him because it's just too dangerous, and maybe giving him back to Luke or something. I don't know. There's something that's going to happen though, and it's going to be interesting to kind of see how they can kind of go into season four from this season, and whether or not it's actually going to be an exciting season and not just one of those long filler seasons to get ready for a fourth season. Because I don't know, I think it's just going to be like a big war season. I'm not going to really see anything special.
I just think they missed out on so much. How do I put this? When you separate two characters who are like very closely associated with each other and you keep them apart for a long time, like let's use Game of Thrones as an example. Like say when Arya and Sansa were separated and they don't see each other again for a really long time, or Cersei and Jaime are separated and they don't see each other for a really long time, and they change as characters while they're apart. It feels so interesting. Um, and it also feels good for us as an audience when they're reunited. It's like a happy moment that is made specifically by the time that they've been apart, and also by how much they've changed as people. And it's interesting for us because we're thinking, whoa, like how are they going to interact now that they're completely different people from the last time they met? Um, they completely missed out on that with what they did with Din and Grogu. They basically said, we want our cake and we want to eat it too. We want to have this tragic moment where they're separated, this really
Mm-hmm.
sad moment that pulls on your heartstrings, but we don't want to keep them apart and really earn it. We just want to quickly bring them back together. And I could be wrong, but I think someone at like following season two that was affiliated with the show, whether it was Filoni or Favreau or one of the actors, I don't remember who said it, but someone outright admitted that they couldn't just keep doing this whole like Din and Grogu dynamic forever. Like, you know what? Like, we can't just keep having him babysit Grogu all the time and try to get him to from point A to point B, if you will. I don't remember who said that, but I'm pretty certain that somebody affiliated with the show said that, and it's a good point. Like, it gets old after a while doing the same thing.
Even as kids, like we're not they're as much as they're they're younger and they're kids, they're not stupid, right? And they like a good story. And if a new episode begins in the Star Wars universe the same way it ended, and then begins again in the exact same format, where like you said, from point A to point B, only to end up back at point A again next week, you lose retention because there's no drive to keep watching the next episode, because you know exactly what's going to happen. You know they're not going to die. Nothing
Yeah.
bad's going to happen. It's just going to be an adventure, right? And sure, it's fun, but it was fun for the first two seasons, right? So let's kind of spice it up a little bit.
Yeah, Sal, this is a good comparison. Cap and Tony, like we didn't see them together for a few years, and a real world time also plays a role in it. So I guess I even how would you have felt if they brought that, say the Boba Fett thing never happened, and then they brought them back together in like episode 1 or 2 of season 3? How would you feel about that?
If
Would that
they,
have changed
I'm sorry, I just saw Alice
anything?
was here. I'm like, hi, Alice. What was your, what was your,
My question was, say that they never did the Book of Boba Fett thing,
uh
and
huh,
instead they just reunited them in episode 1 or 2 of season 3. How would you feel any different?
like the Luke episodes were episode one, and then
Yeah, yeah, or 2, and
like maybe Din never meets up with Boba Fett, right? Maybe that never happens, and it's just
sure,
like
yeah.
the first episode is they meet and then Grogu decides to go with them, and then that's how the episode ends or something.
Yeah.
I actually think I would be okay with that because then it's all continuity maybe instead of just disjointed for the sake of having to make other people watch other parts of their streaming service to keep numbers high, right? It's that's all I can imagine is the purpose behind it, right? And it saddens me that they had to resort to that kind of those kind of marketing schemes and ploys to try to get numbers higher at the expense of the fans' enjoyment and people's confusion overall too. Because there has to be a ton of people that never even watched that show. They've just been waiting for Mandalorian for the past 2 years, and they come in, they're like, "Wait, how'd they get back together?" They're like, "Oh, it was explained in the other show that you didn't watch," and they're like,
You've got to
"Oh,
do homework.
well, that kind of sucks. I don't know if I like that."
Yeah.
And then it ruined. You know what I mean? Like there's a massive majority of people in the Mandalorian space that like the show aren't massive Star Wars fans that have never seen that show, right? So it's like because of how big of a phenomenon Grogu is, right? It's important to have everything concise and easy to digest, especially something as big as Luke Skywalker takes Grogu. Now all of a sudden they're back together. Wait, what happened? Right? It's like, come
Yeah.
on, guys. You have to
I
understand, man, like Grogu's bigger than Star Wars in terms of its fandom right now. Like there's people from all over, like people like Tolkien fans are probably watching Grogu because they liked him because it was fun, right? And they never
He's
saw
a he's adorable. Like
yeah.
you can't. There's. I don't think I've ever seen anybody who doesn't think that Grogu is adorable. They hit such a home run with him in terms of marketing and monetization. Like such a home run. He's probably. Would you say he's a top 5 recognizable character in Star Wars?
I'd say in the world, dude, overall. I think
He's like
forever.
Pikachu.
Yeah, he's gonna be like Pikachu. Yeah, for sure. Depending on how well like the show continues and his character continues, and doesn't end miserably, right? Like Pokemon's just always going to be a thing, and Grogu has the potential of always being a thing. Just if they stop worrying about making it always a thing, it'll remain a thing. If that makes sense, right? They need to stop worrying so much about retaining what they have and just realize its value and create meaningful storytelling and content around the character, and everything's going to be okay there, Disney. You do not have to worry about constantly shoehorning things or moving things around for the sake of monetary gains when you know for a fact he's going to be good as a cash cow as long as you respect him, right?
Yeah. Um. What was I gonna say?
Peter style.
I would. Yeah. See us out. I don't remember what I was gonna say. That's
I'm
so
sorry if
annoying.
I cut you off.
No, you're good. Let's see. Another reason for Grogu to be a Jedi and still be with Din. The Din wouldn't have babysit Grogu as much. I'm getting my hopes up. Should I stop or okay that down? Yeah, I would have again liked to see them on separate paths for a while.
I think a good
Uh,
season 3 finale would be they get back together.
yeah, I think that I remember what I was gonna say. I was gonna kind of answer my own question as well, or respond to my own question. I think that having them get reunited in like episode 1 or 2, it would have been better than doing the Boba Fett thing for the reasons that you said. Completely agree. It wouldn't have felt so corporate and like obviously you wouldn't have felt the hand of the studio as much. But at the same time, I still think that's too soon because it would while it was a few years, like 2 or 3 years for us in real world time, it still is in the grand scheme of things no episodes apart from when they were separated, no Mandalorian episodes apart. Literally, like imagine you're binge watching this and you finish season 2 and you're like, oh no, it's so sad that they're separated. And you start episode 1 of season 3 immediately following that, and oh, they're back together again. So I
Yeah.
think the ideal thing would have been half a season to a season of them apart. And I feel like Favreau probably knows that. He just didn't really have a choice.
Yeah. I have strong suspicions that they're like, wait, this is a direction that like I don't think maybe it was either Kathleen or whoever it was. I think they probably read it too late after it was already approved. They actually didn't read it. They just like, oh, this is good. You can go ahead and do your thing. And they do it, and then at the end they're like, wait, you're separating them? Okay, you
No,
gotta
you're
put them
not.
back in. You
Yeah.
gotta put them back in. And what's the next show you're doing? Boba Fett. Okay, throw 2 episodes of Mandalorian in there, or throw an episode of Mandalorian in there, and we gotta get them back together for the next season because there's no fucking way we're gonna get the same numbers without him. You got to do it. And they're like, but this is for Boba. No, you're doing it. And they're You know what I mean? That's probably what happened.
Yeah, and I mean, in fairness, Grogu needs to stop being a baby. Give him another 50 years.
Oh my god. I'm sorry. That's the best comment today. That's really funny. Stop being a
Do you
fucking baby,
think
Grogu.
do you think by the end of the show he'll say a word or two, like he'll
Yep.
speak?
You'll probably say like a couple words. I think you'll start talking by like the end. Easy.
Who do you
Probably
think
start saying
voices
stuff.
him? Danny, what if Danny DeVito voices him?
I got my Magnum condom from my Magnum dong.
So
Oh.
anyway, I just started blasting. Danny DeVito's Danny DeVito's married to the lady who voices Sid, right?
Yeah, Real Proman. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, oh my god, if he actually does speak, I'll just dub Danny DeVito's voice over him. And we'll just air him like have a potty mouth and just say terrible things, and everyone just reacts like, oh, okay, kind of like Stewie in Family Guy. I'm just like, oh, that's a good boy, but the whole time he's just like, go fuck yourself and your mom. Oh my god.
What's up, Micah?
So,
So
anyways, I started
anyways, I
push
just started
pushing.
pushing.
uh,
I don't know how I feel about Grogu talking. I I just Grogu is they've set up it's kind of brilliant what they've done with Grogu because yeah, he won't be a baby forever, but he'll be a character as long as he doesn't die for a long time. Like he
yeah,
can live for 900 years.
yeah. They can do
Um
like a time jump of 200, and he'll still be like a child.
yeah, yeah, he'll be young. I mean, Yoda, we don't even know how long Yoda could have lived because he might have been able to live longer if he wasn't living in a friggin'
He,
swamp for
he was
20
kind of like,
years.
this fucking Luke kid can't beat Vader. I'm fucked. I'm just gonna die.
Yeah.
He's like, good
Take
luck, dude. He's like, you must confront Vader. He's like, what's like, what the fuck am I gonna tell him? Just fucking die, you fucking worthless kid.
Lift these rocks, you will. Not my responsibility, it is. Not my
uh,
problem, bro. Die, I will.
Seagulls.
Like honestly, dude, think about this. Like he sent Luke to the death basically to go fight Palpatine and Vader by himself and he wasn't even a true Jedi yet. Like it's that's such a Hail Mary move that just happened to pay off. Uh
I hope he doesn't. It would feel too grabby. Unless he was voiced by Danny DeVito, then it's okay. Yeah, I agree. We see like Danny walking into Lucasfilm. Leaked. Danny DeVito is walking into Lucasfilm. Who do you think he's gonna
yeah.
play? Grogu. Yoda just
Danny
want to take a
DeVito's
nap.
short. Grogu's short. We'll have him voice Grogu. And they don't even have him voice Grogu. They literally like paint his face green and have him wear Grogu ears. And suddenly
And they just like
when
do like really
Grogu
bad CGI over
yeah.
top him. Yeah.
Uh
they like forget about his nipples, and his nipples are just out. It's just just green. It's
Yoda
just
just
like
wanted to take a nap.
he's like sweating, and the paint's like falling off.
They have like PAs reapplying the paint
And
in
like
the
green,
scene.
like green screen outfits. You just see like a paintbrush randomly,
Yeah.
like starting to go over.
Why? I feel like we do this every time we stream together without Cat. We just start ridiculing like Star Wars. And it's so
Dude, we
funny.
should make a skit where we get Danny DeVito and he's Grogu. We have to do that. Can someone please call up Danny DeVito? We have to do
I'll
this.
find him. I live in LA. He probably lives in LA. I'll find him. Wait, let me look this up.
Danny
Where?
DeVito's address.
Yeah, where does Danny DeVito live? Okay, he lives in Malibu. It looks like that's not too far from me. Yeah, I
He
can.
would
I'll
he
find
would live
him.
in Malibu,
I'll find him.
and I will kill
Maybe
him. No, I'm just
10
kidding.
years from now, they start voicing Grogu learning to talk. What if Yoda's Force Ghost showed up to see him? His first work is dad, but in DeVito's voice. His first
What if,
words are dad, but in DeVito's voice.
like like an accent.
Dad,
You just
dad.
well, well, at least I did. I had like a Boston accent when I was a little kid, and when I was first talking, I had like a gnarly East Coast accent, and a
What
lot
are
of
you
kids do have
from?
that. No, I was always born here, but I just had a weird accent that sounded like I was from Boston, and it wasn't until I grew up that I learned how to speak properly. But
Were you running around saying like I'm wicked smart?
well,
So,
my mom had like a shirt that said that, and a cooking apron that said that, so I probably did say that. Who knows?
wicked smart.
And
What are
here
your
I thought
thoughts?
he lived in Philadelphia. Oh,
Apparently
yeah.
not. What are your thoughts on Book of Boba Fett season 2 with the leaks of Boba Fett's helmet and Slave One cockpit scene in the pre-production of a show?
It could just be from Mandalorian.
Could be. I don't want a season 2 if it's going to be anything like season 1. I think that I just want to go on a brief rant here. You've heard this before, but why the hell even make a Boba Fett show if he's not even going to act like Boba Fett at all? Like
Yeah.
you can't have him doing any crime because crime is bad, and we can't have our protagonist being a bad guy, and you can't have him doing any bounty hunting because killing people is bad, and we don't want our hero to be killing people. So
Let's just make sure we set a goal from the first episode, and then at the very end of the season, realizing that it doesn't actually want that goal, and that it doesn't actually matter at all, and that he shouldn't do it. Let's just do that.
yeah,
That makes sense.
and it's like it's fine if your character has a goal, and then by the end they realize I don't want that, I actually want something else. Like I've learned that this isn't what I really want. This other thing is what I really want. That didn't happen with Boba Fett. What Boba Fett
Yeah.
did was like, oh, I don't know what I want. Like there was no second thing that he was like, oh, that's what I wanted. Like he was basically like, I don't think this crime mode stuff is for me.
Yeah.
End season. End season.
He's like, yeah, I just murdered a bunch of people. It's not for me though. I don't care. It's not my thing. The car in
The
the yard is
kind
far
that
from the
had
bar.
half on the bar.
Boba Fett was more like Boba Fett, the cinematic trailer.
Had a good theme song though.
It did have a good theme. The theme was better than Mando's, in my opinion. I liked it more. But the show wasn't great. The first episode was pretty cool, but they
The
were just
first
they
few,
spent way too long with the Tuscans, man. I'm sorry, they just
I
did.
liked
It
that
was
part.
cool, but they did it way too long. It was way too long. I'm
It was
sorry,
like
it
two
was too long.
episodes.
It was way too long. No, and then they just kept going on like they were always together at some point in one form or another. Like the concept was cool, but it's just too long.
That's what she said.
He saw their plight and wanted to help, so he wanted to bring prosperity to the lower class. Boba's socialist now. What? It's an interesting take. Yeah, I mean, see what else? Like, where could you go? There's like the decision making too was just really weird. It wasn't even about, I guess, like the political undertones. A lot of the decision making by the characters was just bizarre. Like who they decide who they sent to go kill the Pikes too, instead of Boba just doing it himself. Also was kind of weird. Um,
The whole show is just so
Boba like
much
getting
like
pinned and not realizing that he's pinned until Din shows up to save him. And then they're like, let's do
Boba.
this together. And then there was like a whole fucking Twitter thing about how they were gay together. And it's like, okay, dude, what the fuck is going on with Star Wars? Like, why does it have to be about their sexuality now? Like, what the fuck, dude? Is like is the story that lackluster? You got to resort to trying to figure out their sexuality now. It's like so weird.
They said like 7 words to each other in the whole show. Like
Yeah, yeah. He's like, oh, they're gay, they're they're bisexual. It's like, dude, what? Well, what makes you think of what? In what tangible universe does that make sense?
you can't even deduce if Boba Fett's straight. Like you can't deduce anything about his sexuality. Like he doesn't talk about, like, it's just not, you don't think about, oh, who's Boba Fett in love with when you think about Boba Fett. It's just Boba Fett. When I found out they were making a Boba Fett show, I was expecting some kind of, I don't know, bounty hunting.
Dude, we had said all sorts of really cool ideas for what the show was gonna be, and then it wasn't any of those ideas. It was actually worse than our worst idea, I think, for what our
Yeah,
plans were.
it's
We're like
imagine if
Godfather
they
in space, and it wasn't even close to that.
That would have been cool. When we saw the trailer, we were like, "Oh, it's gonna be Godfather in space
Yeah.
because he has like them all at this table." But it turns out he was an idiot and told them what he was gonna do, and then they betrayed him. But
It's like
what I wanted was like a team of bounty hunters led by Boba Fett undertaking some near suicide mission. I think that would have been really sick.
yeah.
Um, but let's see, let's catch up on these comments, and we can do the emoji rain, and
So
then we
what's
can
the Mace
call it a
Windu thing
wrap.
you're working on, Alex? If you have to mention your last stream, it's not my Mace Windu thing. It already exists. The full fan film is out. It's just in French. He messaged me to make a trailer for him, so that's what I did. I just did English dub with voice actors, but that's the extent of it. There's something else to it.
Did you use for the clone voice? Did you use
Shapeshifter, yeah,
yeah, shapeshifter? Nice.
yeah.
Thank you, lightsaber boy 2.0. Thank you,
Welcome,
thank you.
welcome, dude. Much live, much live.
Still did Cad Bane dirty. Didn't deserve to go out 2 episodes into live action. I agree. They should have had. I said this. I had this long essay video like after Boba Fett came out. They should have used Cad Bane to kill the Tuskens. It was so strange that they didn't do that.
Yeah,
Like, because then you have Boba Fett having a reason to hate Cad Bane and want revenge, and it just didn't. I don't understand why they didn't do that. It's such an obvious choice. Socialist comment was humorous. Bubba wants to be a good boy like Ivan the Terrible. Close to the end of that terrible person's life, he claimed to be a Christian and regret his actions. The problem, Serena, with that in my mind is they didn't give us enough justification for him suddenly being good. Like even when he first got with the Tuscans, he wasn't a bad dude. Like he tried to escape, and he also was like, "Hey, do you want me to free you too?" to that random prisoner. And then because he tried to be a nice dude who wanted to free another prisoner, he ended up getting captured again. So we never saw the like scumbag bounty hunter Boba Fett at any point in that show,
yeah.
which
When
is what
like
I wanted to see.
literally like a day before or a couple days or a week before he was like Jabba's right hand man, and you're telling me
Yeah,
like that's the character arc that he just swapped instantly because he saw the Tuscans and their way of life. It changed him like Dances with Wolves or something. Like no, fuck no. Like he
and
he, he
also
can't be redeemed. Like god damn it, what the fuck?
he never had any like lines of reflection about like, oh, I really regret doing some of the things that Jabba had me do. He never talked about
Yeah, he's
like
like nothing
regretting
never
anything.
happened because that was so long ago. I forgot.
He was basically just like, I could do it. I could be a crime lord better than he could, and which was not true at all.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't even know the first thing about being a crime lord, and then he finds out he doesn't want to be a crime lord. So what do you want, Boba Fett? Um,
And why
their
do we
crew's
care?
Yeah, their crew was way too small. How can you run a crime? Yeah, it was ridiculous. Like it was so ridiculous. It felt like someone was writing a crime show, um, and they had no idea how to write a crime show.
Or they wrote a script for a crime show and they're like, "Hey, I have this script. It's just for crime. It's like it takes place in like the 1920s in New York or some shit. It's like, oh, it's just fucking copy paste Boba Fett character, the Star Wars characters on it, and use that script, and we'll throw like the Pikes in as like the rival gang or some shit. It's like it'll work. It's like okay, cool, sounds good to me. Also, Serena with the history with Ivan the Terrible. You're like you go all over with your references.
I
Like
respect
I
it.
I, I
I
respect
respect
you.
it. All right, let's queue up the the Tarkin. Everybody ready your emojis? Okay, I need to make sure that they can see this. It's
Yeah,
hard to
I
tell.
still can't see it. I'll let you know when it pops up.
Okay.
It's just blurry right now. Okay, I see the Evil Ewok podcast. Okay, now I see it.
All right. And here we go.
I'm fire when ready.
All right, chat, do it. Fire.
Emoji time.
Emojis. Always takes a little bit.
They weren't working for a while there. I don't know if you
Drop them.
noticed.
Make it rain. Come on.
Hold on,
Oh, wait,
hold
we
on.
need to change ourselves to
Yeah,
circles.
I just realized that we need to become circles. We become circle people now. Wait, where is it? Is it under
It's
profile? Oh, there we go.
no, yeah, you got it. There we go. Come
We're
on, chat,
circle
do it.
people now.
Make it pour. Let's
Whee!
go.
Whoa!
More.
Blow it up more.
More. There we go.
Whoa!
Thank you, Stanleys.
Oh, look at all the love.
Look at all those different
Beautiful.
colored Different colored hearts.
Yeah, you were right though. I looked at the stream after, and the emojis looked way different on the YouTube interface than they do on the back end studio. So
Yeah.
it's pretty cool. Oh, scissors and a fire alarm or an ambulance alarm.
And
Interesting.
skulls. Unicorns.
Unicorn. Oh, dude, the
Apples.
unicorns look sick. Whoa.
Pancakes.
Whoa.
Money.
Woo. Sick. Oh, I
This
can't
is
wait
the
till we
best.
can finally get our special custom emojis for members so that they can like flex their
I
cool
want to
emojis.
see Yoda on the table falling.
Yeah, just all over the place.
Yoda on
Yeah.
a chair, my bad.
Yoda on a chair, even though the emoji is literally him on a table.
Yeah.
So it's like a conundrum in itself.
It's like the Mandela effect or whatever.
Yeah, literally.
Let's go.
Yeah, it
Drop 'em,
literally
drop
is
'em,
a
drop 'em.
Mandela effect emoji. We should just call it the Mandela effect emoji.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget, if you haven't already, like the stream. Helps us very much. And thanks for joining us on the Evil Ewok podcast. We'll see you next week, folks, for Mandalorian Season 3.
Hell yeah. Thanks, guys.